You didn't do anything to her to hurt her today or last night?
No.
Your friend Rose or whoever dropped by with her didn't do anything to her, come in the house, hurt her?
Rose?
Rebecca Klein was vivacious. She was warm. She was the kind of person who made the people around her better just by being there. And in March 2007, her body was found in the trunk of a Ford Mustang, placed there by someone who claimed to love her. Nicole M. Abusharif is currently serving life without parole for Rebecca's murder. Her latest appeal was dismissed just last month. And when you watch the interrogation footage we're about to go through together, you'll understand why. The detectives on this case were methodical. Nicole thought she was smarter than them. She was very wrong. If you're new here, subscribe. We do this right. Now let's get into it.
Are you currently working?
Yeah. Well, there's been a little bit of a problem with that the last week.
Right.
I had cancer, liver cancer.
Really?
Yeah, and I just, it's just a very small company. I was the first person they ever hired. We got this big, like, 2 million cameras for this rural police department, like the outside ones, the big box ones. And the owner of the company came in and decided that I was sick again. Like, I'm losing weight. No, I've been working out. I'm doing good, you know. And decided that she wanted a note from my cancer doctor saying she wanted my file. And I said, there's no way. You have no right to that. So now we're battling back and forth if you're, like, messing with my rights to if you deserve to have this information. It's only because she thinks I'm sick. And she's basically a millionaire and gets what she wants. So
yeah.
She's trying to push my buttons, I think.
Wow. What company you work for?
Secure Integrations.
Secure?
Integrations, yeah. I think they actually officially fired me yesterday. I'm not really sure.
What does that mean?
Well, because they kept saying, like, I have, like, a week to get this note or something like that. And I was like, well, no. And then Becky, they wanted me to sign this thing. And Becky read it. Someone else actually knew what it said. So I brought it home to Becky, and she was like, they were saying something about that. If I didn't comply by, Friday with this note, they're assuming I resigned. Just trying to get me, like, push me out. I think a little, actually the guy who's there.
So right out of the gate, she's not talking about Rebecca. She's talking about her job, her cancer, her boss being unfair. This is deflection dressed up as vulnerability, and it's a tactic she's going to lean on hard throughout this interrogation. What Nicole doesn't realize is that detectives Dave and Todd have already done their homework. They know about her history of volatile relationships. They know about the Mustang. They're letting her talk because every word she says is a thread they're going to pull later. And she just handed them a dozen.
All right. Chatting about the workout, the elliptical. What else?
That's about it. You gave her kind of a half-assed background. I was like, okay, it hurts. She's like, all right, she's feeling my muscles kind of thing. She's happy she's getting a butt. Her side of the family, they don't have one. It goes like, we all make fun of her for it, you know. So she decided, Molly, last time, I'm so exhausted. She actually started falling asleep on the couch, too.
Okay.
And then I woke up. She actually woke me up and told us to go to bed.
What time do you think that was?
The news was on, so I know usually I laugh at her because she watches the news and she goes to Will and Grace. On the first episode, she watches the last 15 minutes, and the next one, only the first 15 minutes, and she turns it off. I'm like, why do you bother watching it? Like, watch one show, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And that wasn't mine, so I don't know.
So sometime during the news, and we're assuming we mean 10 o'clock news versus Channel 9, 9 o'clock, or Fox 9 o'clock?
Yeah, she usually doesn't go to bed before 10. Usually it's probably about 10:30, give or take.
Both these run together.
Yeah, she made me Theraflu, like, about an hour before that, and she gave me some NyQuil tablets. So I was good to go.
All in the middle of the night? No, she got up at all in the middle of the night?
I still going down. I have no idea. I'm doubt I didn't get up at all.
Okay. Was she normally? Was she sound sleeper? All right. What's the next thing?
I was sleeping, like, she woke me up as I was going to bed. So.
What's the next thing you remember?
Her kissing me, and then I made fun of her because she was wearing.
I mean, did she have to wake you up? Do you know? Or?
No, I kind of wake up to her. I mean, she's always like, she always gives me a kiss and tells me she loves me. Like, sometimes I wake up, sometimes I don't. I do the same thing to her if I leave before she does. Then telling her she had my shirt on, like, oh, you have my shirt on, and she just laughed at me.
And usually after, if, you know, something of that nature, does she actually leave the house?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She's up, she's changed, she's ready to go to work.
I'm usually the last.
Even though you're still in bed, but she might be leaving her house.
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. Usually I think I'm her last stop, but really, I don't know. I mean, there's coffee or she'll have breakfast sometimes, but like, I have snacks in there and like stuff like that. Like, she's very much like prepared food.
Did you happen to notice this morning if there was a coffee cup or cereal bowl or anything like that?
No, there was a coffee cup on the counter, actually. There was. There was one in the sink, so. Usually Fridays, well, I don't know, Fridays she does not usually, she goes up and do lunch, something like that, and get it, and goes to get a bagel. She worked out all week. It's kind of like a little treat to herself, so I don't know. I know, stuff's done, right? She was fully digging the whole working out thing this time.
Now, it's earlier, not that you said I don't believe you looked at a clock.
No, I didn't.
But you believe that was around the 7:30 time?
Usually, that's the time she usually leaves, and I just assumed that's when she left.
Now watch this. She's rattling off Rebecca's bedtime routine like she's reading from a script. The NyQuil tablets, the news at 10. Grace on Channel 9, first 15 minutes of one episode and the last 15 of another. Who tracks television habits that precisely, unless they're building an alibi? This isn't a grieving partner recalling memories. This is someone who rehearsed. And here's what she doesn't know. The detectives have already pulled phone records that contradict this cozy domestic timeline she's constructing. Every mundane detail she offers, thinking it makes her sound innocent, it's another brick in the wall they're building around her.
Mobile, out of bed.
I was probably I think John didn't wake me up, but I was kind of like, he called me up the car ID, actually from asked for one officer wanted to see it. It was like 11:37. I was like 10 minutes before he called. I like this one. She always tells me you get the rocks at me, I wouldn't wake up. Very true.
What does John say when he calls?
He actually, when I was sure, he's like, where are you at? And I was like, huh? He's like, oh, this is Nicole. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I'm like, no, it's me. He's like, where is she? She come in today? I was like, she should have been there. So I was waiting. I called her mom. This is her mom. I talked to her. I called Melanie. I called her cell phone.
I mean, was it a short conversation? What, I mean,
yeah, very much. And I called her.
Sorry, Eric, let me back up here though. He calls, thinks initially he's talking to Becky.
He's like, he asked me, he said, where are you at? I'm like, at home. He's like, oh, this is Nicole. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm obviously looking for Becky. I was like, she's not there? He said, no. I'm like, she left for work. She should have been there. And he's like, okay. He's like, I've been looking for her. He's like, she's kind of making me worried. I was like, when you call her cell phone? He's like, a couple times I called her. I was like, okay. So I tried to call her, and I called her mom. And I kind of started driving around just to kind of see.
You went out and drove around?
Yeah, I was trying to see, I don't know which way they go, because everyone was like St. Charles, but the roads I don't know the names. And I'm like, I don't know if it's that way, but then they were telling the way one time, so I was like, I don't know. So I kind of went the way she would go to work.
What would they have been?
Honestly, I don't know the streets. Like, by my house, if you go out on the main street, like, what's the main street right out here?
St. Charles?
St. Charles,
right. Okay, so.
Well, if you would have exited your house, would you have headed right to St. Charles?
Right, yeah, right in St. Charles, so we're going that way from my house.
Right, but I'm telling you, you live on Harvard.
Yeah.
Would you have gone directly, that's what I'm saying, it would have been south, it would have been to the main street, St. Charles, or did you drive up in, onto
No, I went right from my house, I mean, right to St. Charles.
What time do you think that would have been?
John called me, and he calls. It's afternoon, I know that, I'm not really sure.
And where were you going to go?
I just maybe try to see, like, I know John said that her van was her old van, the one she always drives, so I was like, okay. So I had the key for it.
He had already told you that?
Yeah. He's like, apparently Dawn said he needed that van this morning. She said, like, where is she, you know what I mean? Dawn, he wanted to use hers, she said it was in the shop for repairs, so he couldn't use hers kind of thing. So that was more where you kind of start getting, like, kind of strange about it, so. And I was actually.
You never looked over onto that Division Street?
No, I didn't even.
When you pulled out of the driveway?
No, I didn't even think about it. I was probably talking to someone on the phone. I was fine, everybody else knew on my phone too much. And actually, when I was coming back, I wasn't paying attention. I went around the block the other way, and I was like, you know what? I'm like, that looks like the top of her car. You don't really see big mini.
How long do you think you were out?
I don't know, maybe 45 minutes.
Where'd you go for 45 minutes?
I was trying to figure out which way she would go. Like, I don't know. I'm not really good with that, but I just figured I would try. It just wasn't like her, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit.
So do you know where you went to?
Like that way, but.
Were you just stopping at businesses?
I didn't end up like at Wheaton at all, so I was like, Okay, like if I have my GPS, you give me an address, it might says turn left here, turn right here. I don't have to know the street names, I don't have to know anything. It's very, very particular.
Right.
Otherwise, I get nowhere. Like for school, like for work, I have to have this thing. Like I can't go unless like Becky would actually. I had interviews before for different jobs. She would actually take me there once, so I knew how to get there the next day because I can't. I'm bad with that. You know, everything in front of me is messed up. You know what I mean? It doesn't work out for me.
Okay. You drive right back home then?
Yeah.
Did you come back like off the main road, St. Charles?
Yeah, I was up on the phone at night. I didn't hit Harbor. I hit the next one.
45 minutes. She claims she drove around for 45 minutes searching for Rebecca, but can't name a single street she turned on. Can't remember if she stopped anywhere. Needs GPS to find a job interview, but somehow spent nearly an hour navigating unfamiliar routes looking for her missing partner. This is the same woman who just gave us Rebecca's television schedule down to the minute. The detectives catch it immediately. They're asking specific directional questions, and she's flailing. South on St. Charles? Left or right from the house? She doesn't know because she wasn't searching. She was disposing. And that anxiety you're hearing in her voice? That's not concern for Rebecca. That's the sound of someone realizing her story has too many holes to fill.
Anything that you could think of relating to been trying to get
I know, like, I mean, thought he got married and moved out of state. He used to be like, those people, they're not cops, but they want to be cops kind of thing. They go and they look for people who have like warrants out. And,
like a bounty hunter kind of.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Fugitive.
Yeah, he always wanted to be a cop. He just never wanted to actually go to school and do it or like kind of thing, you know.
Do you know his name? Remember it?
Keith, I know that. Her mom, she has not really seen this guy. I know the last time he was married already. He wanted her to sign a car title, and he mailed it to her or stopped by or something like that before he was moving. And they were fine. I mean, we watched his dog for him. It used to be her dog too. They had a couple dogs actually. We watched him for the weekend or something like that.
Was the breakup okay as far as you know?
Yeah, you know, he slept on the couch for the last year before they actually broke up. It was more or less, it was one of those things where she thought she's supposed to get married and this is, you know, and I actually didn't like him. Like, he never came around a lot, his eyes. And she'd cry all the time or she was just looked so unhappy, you know what I mean? So we kind of like, when she left him, it was like everyone's so happy. And that's kind of the big thing with us was that she's like, they were like, not sure about it, but they're like, well, I mean, look at her. You can't say that's a bad thing, you know what I mean? I think that's more or less like how, like actually her sister was like, you're not going to like him. And I'm like, don't tell me that. I'm like, you know, I'm going to have this stuff in my head, I'm not going to like him, right? You know, and I did. And then he would come over on his own just to say hi to me. We had this little ghetto pool table thing going on, and we'd play. And then they kind of just came over more, and it just got to be this, like, really nice, you know what I mean? Christmas, I go there, I always had.
Okay. She had any strange phone calls or anything that you know over recently?
No, actually, I was trying to tell the other guy, but I really think he didn't care too much about a couple things on our cars about how we're going to go to hell kind of thing.
And where was that?
On our cars, in the windshield of the cars, there was.
In your driveway?
Yeah. But it stopped. It was like...
You were already here in Villa Park?
Yeah, that was the...
When you say on your windshield, I mean...
Like on a paper, like
on a piece of paper?
Yeah.
Any other neighbors get those at all?
No, it's because of us, like, because we're two girls. I'm guessing that was what it was. And
that was about 3 months ago?
But we decided when we moved, like, in Lamont, they were both, like, 8-year-olds both sides of it. And we just weren't, like, we're not those people who, like, want it in public or, like, you know what I mean? It just wasn't that, that wasn't, like, to us. Right away, they're, like, Phil and Sherry Polacco, and he actually, like, they thought, he told that he think he was going to get free from office or something like that. He's just that guy who says, you know, stuff like that all the time.
Who said that?
Polacco. He's
yeah, I live next door.
Yes, he's very, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's very, like, he's crazy.
So did this just occur one time, or was it multiple times?
It was about 3 different times it was. 3 different times.
You never contacted the police about it, though?
No, we were just kind of like, you know, because, like, the neighbors knew, obviously. So we're like, well, someone's going to have to get over it and investigate it. You know, if there's a church down the street.
And what did the notes actually say?
I know it was, we're all going to go to hell or something like that. Must burn, there was one. I'm not really sure. I can't remember what the other one was, but it was like...
Did you happen to save them?
We were going to, but then they stopped. So we're just like, okay, maybe it was just something stupid going on, you know what I mean? Like some kids, they didn't think it was... We weren't scared about it, you know what I mean? Yeah, it had. Actually, I went to that guy robbed my work. I think he was here when I know Abby was, and I was like, dude, this weird shit going on my car, you know? But it just totally stopped from there. We had him. She was like, save him. I'm like, okay. But nothing ever happened about it. So this guy, we just figured it was like some teenager who maybe saw us, you know, like in the backyard or something like that, and just like, you know, trying to mess with them.
Did you have, I mean, did she get along, as neighbors do, at least with the guy next door? How about any other neighbors?
The ones on the other side of us, we used to laugh because we've heard kids, we've never seen them though. We're like, where are they, kind of thing. And finally, Becca said, see them, they're right there. And she went and talked to her. I think
Even if you have,
I've never heard
were any neighbors now, obviously in combination with not knowing who put these notes on the car, your windshield of your car, but any cold deals or comments maybe, or?
People across the street, really nice house, we wave and they'd be like, whatever kind of thing. But that's, I think it might just be their nature.
And here's where she pivots to the neighbor strategy. Loco next door. Homophobic notes on the windshield. Some guy who wanted to be a cop, but never actually became one. She's throwing names and scenarios at the wall, hoping something sticks. But here's what Nicole doesn't realize. Detectives Dave and Todd already ran background on every single person she's about to mention. The ex-boyfriend who moved away? Verified alibi. The neighbor with the supposed grudge? No criminal history. She's building an alternative suspect list out of people who don't exist as threats. And every name she drops is another thread they're going to pull until it leads right back to her trunk.
Let's talk a little more about this friend Rose from MySpace.
Okay.
All right. How long ago did you meet her? Or did she contact you?
It was this summer. Like the first message kind of thing. It was probably maybe like right before the summer. We went to the car show. It was the very first car show.
No, let's not go to the car show yet. You obviously put a profile on, on MySpace.
Yeah.
She contacts you. When about was that?
Oh God. So I'm guessing it was like early spring.
How much do you think you guys corresponded back and forth via emails?
Not really. It wasn't that much. Because I was telling Becky actually that I want to make friends. That it's like, and I love being with her, but I kind of want to, like Becky go to the car, she's like, I need a separation like this. I need something that's mine again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just kind of the used car show. And she's like, I heard about that kind of thing. It was like that.
And that's the first time you met her in person?
Yeah.
As we talked a little bit, or if your brother-in-law talked, or her brother-in-law talked, a lot of times people don't post their own pictures.
Right, yeah.
Was she the one on MySpace that you met later at a car show? Right, so I mean, it wasn't, you know what I mean? Wasn't a mirage of, she puts a picture up, but when you eventually meet the girl, it really wasn't the same person.
No. She actually, she has the yellow Mustang, that's why.
Remember anything specific about that yellow Mustang? I mean, any real distinguishing features, the year of it, anything at all?
It was 80s. It was that.
Good condition? Was it
It was alright. It wasn't like the scary thing. It wasn't crappy. It was just,
Okay. What else about Rose?
Just Roger was there a lot.
Was the barbecue then after the car show?
Yeah, it was actually at this house, yeah. And then actually she found out, she asked me if me and Becky were together. And I was basically just repulsed by that. It was just like two girls and we were just, so we really didn't talk. That was kind of the end of that.
Okay. Well, she was, appalled by that. You meet a little bit, you get, interest in cars, you go to the car show. Is that when she found out that you were with Becky? Mm-hmm. Okay. If she's appalled by that, why did she come over to your house for a barbecue?
Rose from MySpace. The yellow Mustang friend who conveniently vanishes after one barbecue. Notice how Nicole's stories always feature someone who drives off into the sunset right before things get complicated. Detectives already know this Rose doesn't exist. They checked. No matching profile. No yellow Mustang registered to anyone fitting that description. Nicole invented a phantom witness she thought would corroborate her timeline, but instead created another fiction they could dismantle. Every imaginary friend she conjures is another shovelful of dirt on her own defense. And she just keeps digging.
So they really never came in the house, visited for a period of time, used the washroom, did anything?
No.
Or did they come in were they into the porch area or out by the driveway?
They opened the, I always walk that porch door.
Right.
Because it slides open basically, so it's kind of like they were trying to pull on it and my dog went crazy, so I knew somebody was out there, obviously.
Okay. So how long?
I don't think they made it in the porch, like maybe like right by the door. But,
okay. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, asking if they're up in that porch area and more in that inner front door.
Yeah, more the first door.
The first door where you come up the steps.
Yeah.
All right. Minutes at max?
Yeah, it's that, yeah.
Right.
It was kind of like, yeah, whatever, and go back to that.
Did you see where they pulled the car?
No.
I mean,
they were
what would be the normal parking of the car
I
itself?
said, don't park on the street. I said, pull on the cars out. I said, don't park on the street. They're both.
Let's start here. If we're going to go up and down your driveway, which car is closest to the garage last night, if you remember?
Usually she doesn't have that van though, so she has to pull all the way up with that. I haven't been working though, so actually she doesn't pull it all the way up. She has been putting it like right halfway, because our gate is broke, and you have to actually get out of the car.
Right.
Open up the gate.
So is your car technically, your pickup closer to the garage?
Yeah. No, I won't pull it at the garage. Mine's always on this side.
So both these were pulled up to the garage?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking. I'm trying to get a location where these all cars were last
I don't know
night.
if she was pulled all the way up though. She's been not pulling all the way up because usually we have to, so if I leave before her, we can get around each other, you know what I mean, to the block that she's been parking. I actually made fun of her. I was like, you're liking it, and I'm pulling up, and she's like, yeah, I get used to it, you know, just
Okay.
so opening the gate all the time.
And did you see where they parked? No, I'm guessing, did you see the car that they left at your house?
No, I mean, I said, don't out there and actually leave Rose's car here, so it's a yellow Mustang. I thought that's they're going to leave there, but I'm guessing Rose probably didn't let her, no way she was let her leave it there, so I made her drive that car, and I was like, okay, bye. And
Okay, you never looked at which car was left?
No, I just saw I saw headlights on the street. I said, don't park in the street. You're going to get a ticket. And this is fine. I just walked back to bed. Like, I was so, it's not into it right now, you know.
Okay. When I mentioned you, though, at the house earlier, I asked about who drives a black Explorer. You immediately told me it was Rose. That's how we kind of got onto that topic, because your neighbors were the ones that told me, or specifically, you know, the guy next door, was that there was a black Explorer parked in the driveway, and you go, oh yeah, Rose dropped off the car. You remember that?
Yes, you're right. When she came, it's her dad's car.
It's one of those things, again, where we kind of talk here
I
about...
think it's a four-door, actually, though. I've only seen like
I'm just telling you, I know that's what he told me initially. But where it confuses me is, you knew right away what car I was talking about, but you just told us you never even paid attention to what they left at the house.
Right. Well, usually, she's the only person I know that's, there are like four people, definitely. Her dad's got a four-door, has a big, what are the things on the side?
The running
Like,
boards?
yeah, very jacked up, like, this is my truck, like, kind of guy. She brought it for the barbecue, because I was looking at it, and she was telling me to buy another Ford, because I had Jimmy and thing. So then I remember when I knew she was there last night, obviously, so I was like, oh, it's probably just Rose.
Okay.
Now, did you just say that you thought it was her friend that left the car there?
Yeah. They had the yellow Mustang was there, though.
So how could she be driving the Explorer and the Mustang at the same time?
I mean, I don't know. I really just said I wasn't really vaguely saw the cars on the street and just walked back up. But it's also the clock window was her, so I mean, he said, you know, he's like, oh, it was Rose. I'm like, okay.
Oh, he didn't know her name.
Really?
Yeah, told me he didn't remember her name.
He's called her a cop.
Yeah, he just said, yeah, it was a two-door black Explorer. It's the girl that lives in Frankfurt. And, I mean, that's what he told me. And then I remember when I came into the house, I asked you, and that's when you're the one that threw out the name of Rose.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's a four-door. I know it's a four-door. It's like a monster.
See, that bothers me too.
There
were two cars there. This black Explorer and a yellow Mustang.
I didn't know it was when they left though either.
Right.
Until he said it, I was like, okay.
This friend, or whoever was with Rose, was actually holding her up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would hate to think that she was actually driving when the friend was driving the other car.
The four-door versus two-door debate. She's getting tripped up on details about a car she claims she barely glanced at. Here's the thing. Detectives already ran the plates on every vehicle in that driveway. They know exactly what was there and what wasn't. Nicole thinks she's being helpful by offering specifics about Rose's dad's jacked-up Explorer, but she's actually confirming she paid far more attention to those cars than someone who supposedly never looked. You don't remember monster truck modifications on a vehicle you didn't see.
And the bottom line, you know, I might have asked it a million times here. Zero problems between you and her. No arguments, no fights.
Little fights.
Nothing went on.
So the garbage away kind of stuff.
But nothing went on that would be, you didn't do anything to her to hurt her today or last night.
No.
Your friend Rose or whoever dropped by with her didn't do anything to her, come in the house, hurt her.
Rose is 90 pounds. Silky went back, he could just smash her. I mean, that's why I don't think that if you guys are looking into this, and that's great, but.
Yeah, but she came out with somebody else, you said too.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't see it.
Okay. Family-wise, no one that you could think of would have been waiting out front for her this morning and done something bad to her.
My dog would have freaked out though. He's a nice dog, like he'll be, you know what I mean? But if anyone goes near you, he will freak out on you, like, you know what I mean? He gets very, this one guy had Brian, he worked me dinner one time, and he just would not let him near me. Like, I actually had to put him in the bedroom, like he was actually going after him. It's almost like his character. So then I was like, okay, this guy's weird, I'm not gonna hang out with this guy anymore, kind of thing. And that was my mom, like we were renting the house kind of thing. Highway would have went ballistic. I know that. It would have been in a second.
Okay. All right.
One of the last things we got to ask with that is just to rule out any possibilities of you guys getting in a fight and something like that. Can you just, roll up your sleeves and stuff, make sure no scratches, anything like that? We've kind of been in the coat and long sleeves and stuff all day, so.
It's being sick.
That's fine.
I'm blinking on this summer. We have a down comforter on the bed, and we had to buy a mattress set because it's still too cold. We just do stuff like that. I don't know. Good to see.
Okay.
She just showed them her arms and stomach to prove there were no scratches from a struggle. And here's what's so revealing about that moment. Nicole volunteered that before they even asked. She's anticipating what an innocent person would need to prove because she knows Rebecca fought back. The autopsy confirmed asphyxiation as the cause of death. Rebecca didn't go quietly. Nicole's preemptive, look, no marks routine tells us she rehearsed this performance. Innocent people don't walk into interrogations ready to strip down and prove they weren't in a fight.
Did you get your coffee, Nicole? What's going on? Did you want to talk to me?
No, I just want someone to talk to me and tell me what's going on.
Oh. At this point,
Is your family okay? I mean, it's basic stuff.
Yeah, well, our family is okay. What we're trying to do is, get all the information together, what we have, and then come in here and talk to you and talk to the family too, okay? You just bear with us just a little bit here, till we get all of our ducks in a row.
You know what's wrong with the person who comes in here and talks to me?
It's probably not going to be in the next 10 minutes.
Oh, I don't want to be sitting here and like I'm doing nothing, you know what I mean?
Well, realistically, there's nothing to do right now. That's what we have to do there.
Like if I was that with her mom, it's different,
So right now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the key to that trunk. You have no idea where that key might be?
I don't know if Becky ever made the keys for him.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know if Becky ever made the key for him.
Okay. Like I said, I know it's kind of rough to sit in here when something like this is going on, but if you could just kind of.
Like all these things I'm trying to figure out, what could happen, or was she okay? What did they do to her,
Well, that's what we're trying to find out. So if you could just help us out, just hang loose. I'm trying to obviously accommodate you as best as I can. Okay. Is that, you want a more comfortable chair? Would that be better for you?
That back just hurts.
Well, I can give you a different chair. This one, it's a little more comfortable for you. These chairs aren't really the most comfortable thing. Okay? Just like I said, hang tight, bear with us, and once we get some more information, we're going to come here and talk to you.
You guys committed that you found a body, and I have nothing.
I'm sorry, what?
You guys committed, I found a body, you have no idea, this is my wife, this is not.
That wasn't me.
No, I know, but this is not someone that I just met, you know what I mean? I need to know things, I need to know what happened.
I understand, but see, these are things that we don't know yet, because we haven't actually gotten into the car yet. These are things that we're progressing and trying to do. So, but these things don't take, 10, 15, 20 minutes. I mean, they take a little while to accomplish these goals. So, that's basically where we're at. I mean, we're trying to get information and get stuff that we need to get done, and when we have the information, then we're going to come in here and talk.
Mom's not here, and Mom's always when it's here, with me, and it's just,
No. Unfortunately, right now, you gotta remember this though, is due to what's going on here, we really can't have all the family members together in the same place anyways. We have to keep everybody separate.
We keep me separate, basically.
Everybody. So, okay, so just bear with us. If you need something, knock on the door. I got your coffee like you wanted, and, you know, hopefully we'll get the information soon, but like I said, this stuff takes a little time. Okay? Are you sure you don't want nothing to eat or nothing?
I just gotta get out of this room for a minute, you know.
No, that's
I
fine.
think it's down to feel better after like a half hour. I'm going crazy in here.
Anything you need?
Oh, my back hurts.
Is that chair doing better for you?
It's just usually, like, I'll lay straight and I'll lay flat, and so I was sitting down there trying
You want me to move this out of the way so you maybe lay down and crack your back or something, or?
No, I can crack my back up, you know.
What's that?
If I crack my back, I'll pick it up now.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I can't even go, like, I can't even walk with Mel without, like, stay, you know, 2 days. I can't.
What happened?
I can barely pick up Ryan half the time. Like, they just start letting me do it again, you know.
Did you hurt your back?
I got shot in my stomach.
Oh, that's right,
My
that's
back,
right.
And then it kind of was messed up, but it wasn't bad. And then, I fell through a truck bed. When I worked at Brick Furniture, I was doing refinishing.
Yeah.
And I felt it was winter time. Usually there's a ramp, and there wasn't, and they put a blanket over it. And I was helping unload a truck, and it's right through one leg. I had the end of like a 12-person table, like a dining room table. And that, ever since then, it just kicked off. And it's been, you know, I don't know. You know, I'd not to pick up Ryan or, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Did you go to therapy and everything?
Yeah, therapy for probably back and forth for almost a year.
Now, when you were involved with the shooting,
Back injuries, gunshot wounds, falling through truck beds. Nicole is suddenly a walking medical disaster. And notice how none of this has anything to do with Rebecca. This is classic diversion under pressure. The detectives just told her they're working on getting into that trunk, and she immediately launches into a monologue about her spine. Dave and Todd have seen this tactic before. When a suspect can't answer questions directly, they flood the room with irrelevant personal tragedy. Nicole's not sharing her pain. She's buying time, while that trunk key becomes a problem she can't talk her way around.
what's that? Okay, you know you have the right to remain silent. And you say you can't use against it in court of law. You right to talk to a lawyer with you, and have him present any time. If you can't afford to hire one, we'll get you one, and you can exercise these rights at any time. You understand that, though, you've seen them on TV?
Nicole, that's something we do for everybody.
Yeah.
What, arrest them?
Well, wait a minute. Just because we tell somebody their rights, whenever we talk to people that are here at the police department, we tell them their rights. You know, we do that for everybody. Well, part of the reason why we came in here to talk was one of the things you said consistent with what we found. I'm not going to go through the list of things. And what Todd here said is absolutely true. Everything that happened is past tense. Everything that's about to happen happens right here.
Things are consistent, it's because.
You weren't completely accurate with us.
This way.
Nicole, I'm saying you weren't completely accurate with us. And it's not because you got it wrong. It's because you chose not to tell us. And I want you to remember that, Nicole. No one is putting nothing on you that you didn't do. It's not going to happen. And that includes, I'm not calling you a criminal. Nicole, you're not a criminal. You're the one that sat in here and said, let's talk. You're the one that has been helpful. There's a lot to be scared about. And there ain't no doubt about that. And Nicole, one of the things that I've noticed when I was sitting here talking to you, not only now, but before, you're not a stupid woman. You are a sharp, smart young lady. I've also noticed that you're pretty.
I'm not saying not smart. I'm not book smart.
No. There's a difference between book smart and being smart. You asked me to take an algebra test, I'm going to. You asked me to tell whether someone is true or not, I can tell. you can do the same thing. No, there's a difference between being smart. My ex-father-in-law, he used to be a cancer research radiologist. The guy was incredibly smart, but the man couldn't even balance his checkbook. I could walk over there and pull something out of his wallet and his pocket wouldn't even know it. But I could never call him stupid. And then I could ask you to take a test on something. You might not pass it, but there's a hell of a lot of other tests that you would not only pass but ace. Nah, Nicole. We're not talking stupid here, but there's also something else that I'm not talking here. We're not stupid either.
Miranda writes. The moment most suspects hear those words, they shut down completely. Nicole? She keeps talking. And that's what makes this interrogation so textbook effective. Dave and Todd aren't playing bad cop here. They're telling her she's smart and sharp and helpful, and she's eating it up. This is rapport building at its finest. They need her comfortable enough to keep contradicting herself. Because every word out of her mouth is another thread they can pull, and Nicole has no idea she's weaving her own conviction.
And a lot of times I don't think of myself as a cop. My name is Dave. I know what it's like to be sitting in a chair grieving. I know what that's like. So does Todd. I also know what it's like to be scared and not know what to do. I also know what it's like to be between a rock and a hard place. And I know what it's like where I did something, but everybody else is going to think it's the worst. So what do? Do I tell them what happened? And leave it open to chance to what they want to think?
I'm wondering what you guys thought the first 10 minutes you guys were here.
Well, Nicole, something like this just doesn't happen and then you walk away from it.
No, they don't.
It doesn't happen. Nicole, the truth always comes out. And you're smart enough to know that you have a side story, although some of it is not the greatest. Some of it is not the greatest. You're also smart enough to know that if you could go back, you would do things differently. You always do. But that's the part about life that we all are strapped with. You can't do that. But you can do something about it right now. But right now, during the police telling us things that aren't true, it's not going to be good. You have a side of the story, Nicole, and I am interested in your side of the story. And I am willing to listen to the bad, and I am very interested in the good. Nicole, look at me for a second, please. Nicole, I've been a detective for 22 years now. 22 years. And I have investigated a heck of a lot of cases. A heck of a lot of cases that involve burglary, let's say involve robbery, people that rape. But I've also investigated a lot of deaths. And it ain't like TV. Some things are like TV, like CSI. You ever watch CSI? They find out. Well, they find out because that's what we do. There's so many things that we could do to recreate what happened. You know, when you leave your house, I can pretty much tell where somebody is cell phone. You know that. That's why I asked you what cell phones are all about. Nicole, bad things happen. Good things can happen out of them. And you also know that this will come out at the end. It always does. And you can do one of two things. You can turn away from it and run. I'm going to be honest with you, it's kind of like what you're doing right now. Nicole, or you could face it. And I promise you, Nicole, I am not going to put anything on you that you did not do.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
No one's been doing that at all. Right.
Well, now, wait a minute. Who's done that to you? I mean, I'm sure you've had that in your past because I have too. But I'm telling you this, I'm not going to do that to you. Well, something bad happened out there.
22 years. That's how long Dave has been doing this. And you can hear it in the way he talks. He's not rushing. He's not threatening. He's telling Nicole he's seen everything from burglaries to rapes to homicides, and none of it rattles him anymore. This is a man who knows exactly how forensic evidence works, and he's laying it out for her like a warning shot. Cell phone towers, digital footprints, recreating timelines. He's basically telling her the science is coming whether she cooperates or not. And Nicole just sits there like she hasn't already been caught.
Nicole, sometimes things like this happen where you don't mean to do it.
I did not do this, sir.
Yeah, well, you know what happened. You know why. You know why she is the way she is right now.
No, I don't.
I think you do. You need to tell us. Nicole, I'm not trying to be cold to you. You're a human being and you're a good woman, and that'll never change. But you know that this just isn't going to pack up and go away. Am I right?
I know.
That line right there. You're a human being, and you're a good woman. Dave knows she's neither at this point, but he says it anyway, because he's giving her one last off-ramp before the evidence buries her completely. And Nicole? She's still clinging to, I did not do this, like repetition makes it true. Rebecca Klein's body was found in the trunk of Nicole's Mustang. Asphyxiation. There was no mystery left to solve, only a confession left to extract. Nicole filed another appeal just last month. Dismissed. The truth doesn't negotiate.
Why did you go through all this cockamamie, make-up stuff? Why didn't you just tell us? Why did you leave her lying there? Because your side of the story has an answer, and she's willing to accept that. That type of woman, you've got a chance right now, and I'm telling you, you've got a chance right now to totally divide your relationship with them or bring it together and keep it going. Just fight this. Right now, it doesn't seem like that, but it can happen if you so choose. Your choice. You want to enter into this world from here on out all by yourself? That's your choice. I think you can sit down and talk.
You guys have your minds made up, so there's something to talk about.
Do you think I have my mind made up?
You're damn sure you do.
What did I say happened out there?
I'm just saying, you do whatever it's me either way, it doesn't matter. There's no one else in the world, it's me.
Nick, I'm not looking to put nothing on you that you didn't do. I'm serious. I wouldn't do that to my family. I wouldn't do that to anybody. I wouldn't want it done to me. But Nikki, should I hold you accountable for what you did do? Look at me. Please, should I?
Not depending on what you think I did.
No, should I hold you accountable for what you did do?
If I did something, yes, hold me accountable for it.
So you
That's
agree
fine.
with that?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
And would you agree that I should not hold you accountable for something that you did not do?
Yes, but apparently it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, no, it does matter.
If it didn't matter, we wouldn't be in here talking to you, Nicole.
How many things can you think of right now? And I'm going to think of about 5 things right now where you told us things that weren't true out there. How many things did you tell us that wasn't true?
Hold you accountable for what you did do. Dave lays it out like a contract, and Nicole signs it without even realizing. She agrees to the premise, yes, hold me accountable, thinking it sounds reasonable. But here's the thing. The detectives aren't guessing anymore. They've already reconstructed the timeline through cell tower pings and witness statements. They know where she was and when she was there. Nicole thinks she's negotiating terms. She's actually confirming them. Every yes she offers is another nail she hammers in herself.
Well, can we just hang out for just a little while longer?
And smoke me out of sweet for a second.
And what's that going to accomplish?
I don't know, I just need air. It's just sitting here for 6 hours, right?
Nikki, I can understand that, and I'm up for a smoke, all right? But what I'm concerned about is that's a shot to get out of here and run.
Yeah, because you're in a police building.
I run literally, but I mean,
That's I can't deal with this right now. I need a mental mind break.
You can drill me the whole time I'm smoking.
I'm not gonna.
I'm saying you can do the same.
I don't wanna drill you.
No, what I'm saying is you can do the same thing. I just want to figure out.
I don't, listen, Nikki, we don't wanna drill you.
Nikki, this is a mistake. And a mistake has an answer. And a mistake has a reason. This is a mistake, and that's all it is. But I think you're making a second mistake by trying to hide from this.
So apparently now I'm supposed to be a lawyer, right?
You know, that's up to you. I told you, Nikki, you're a human being, and I respect that.
I don't know what the hell's going on, so I'm just going.
Well, when you want one, just say the word.
Is that gonna bring resolve to these people?
Well, that is a choice you make right now. Sounds like to me that that's what you want, and that's what we'll do. Anybody you want to call? You want to call your dad? Is your dad a lawyer? So you don't have any particular person of the legal profession that you want to contact? Okay. What'd you say?
I never had need for a lawyer ever in Illinois.
I know that. All right.
6 hours. She's been sitting in that room for 6 hours, and now she wants a mental break. A smoke? A walk? And Detective Dave sees it for exactly what it is. Not a request for nicotine, but a shot to run. The walls are closing in, and Nicole can feel every inch of it. What strikes me about this final exchange is how the mask has completely slipped. Gone is the woman who could recite Rebecca's NyQuil routine with eerie precision. Gone is the helpful girlfriend naming alternative suspects and fabricating witnesses named Rose. What's left is someone who can barely string together coherent sentences. I can't deal with this right now, she says. No, she can't, because dealing with it would mean admitting what she did. Dave calls it a mistake, and he's being generous. He's giving her one last opportunity to frame this as something other than premeditated murder. A mistake has an answer, he tells her. A mistake has resolution. But Nicole won't take the exit, because taking it means acknowledging Rebecca Klein's body ended up in that Mustang trunk through her actions and hers alone. The forensic case was already sealed before Nicole walked into this room. Cell tower data placed her phone precisely where it shouldn't have been during the hours she claimed to be searching for Rebecca. The autopsy confirmed asphyxiation, meaning Rebecca fought. The body was found in Nicole's car. There is no alternative theory that survives contact with these facts. And yet she asks for a lawyer now. Not 6 hours ago when it might have mattered strategically. Now, when every word she's spoken has already been recorded and cataloged and cross-referenced against physical evidence. The detectives weren't interrogating her to build a case. They were interrogating her to watch her build it for them. What I keep coming back to is the contrast between who Nicole pretended to be and who Rebecca Klein actually was. Nicole spent 6 hours constructing fictional witnesses and memorizing television schedules and volunteering to show her unmarked skin. Rebecca spent her life being vivacious and present and real to the people who loved her. A memorial was held just last week on what would have been her birthday. Family and friends gathered not to relitigate the crime, but to celebrate the woman they lost. That's the difference. Rebecca left behind people who miss her. Nicole left behind a case study in how not to lie to detectives. Her appeal was dismissed on July 25th. Life without parole stands. The justice system did exactly what it was supposed to do. It listened to the evidence and delivered a verdict that matched it. I've covered cases where killers were smarter, cases where the investigation took years instead of hours. But I'm not sure I've seen someone so thoroughly convinced they could talk their way out of physical evidence. Every strategy Nicole deployed became another exhibit for the prosecution. Every name she dropped was cleared. Every detail she added was contradicted. Rebecca Klein deserved better than to become a case file. She deserved the life Nicole took from her. And while nothing undoes that loss, the least we can do is remember her accurately. Not as a victim of circumstances, but as a woman whose killer sits exactly where she belongs. If you want to see another interrogation where the walls close in even faster, check out the case I covered where a teenage killer sits across from detectives who've already found the bodies sealed inside the house. The moment realization hits is something else entirely. I'll leave the link for you.